It's too expensive. You know, Matteo, I have to think about it. I have to talk with my business partner about it. We don't have the budget. Objections like this can break your B2B sales conversations unless you know exactly what to say and handle them the right way. If you manage objections properly, you won't have to push for the close because the deals moves forward naturally. And this is exactly what you want to achieve. Hey everyone, my name is Matteo and I work in B2B tech sales, and in this video I'll walk you through exactly how to handle the most common of 5 objections that you'll face in any B2B sales deal. I'll share with you a simple but powerful framework that you can use in your sales conversation to handle any objection, and I'll provide you with real-world examples and how you can tackle them. First of all, let's enter the right mindset when it comes to objections. So when objection come up, you don't have to play defensively, but welcome the objection because it means that your prospect is thinking critically about your solution and the problem that you are trying to solve for them. So welcome objections and remind yourself that each objection is actually bringing you closer to the close, which is your ultimate goal. So objections aren't blockers, but you can see them as shortcuts that help you move faster towards your final goal, the close. So let's start with the sauce, guys. This is the 3-step framework that I use in every objection handling. Acknowledge, clarify, and respond. So the first step is acknowledge, which means don't get defensive, acknowledge their objection and show empathy about it. The second step is clarify, which means asking a follow-up question to make sure you understand the real concern before you give any kind of response. And finally, with the third step, respond, you want to offer your prospect a relevant response to their issue and concern. So you don't want to, talk about all your features and all the benefits about your product, but you want to be super sharp and make sure you just give the prospect the information that he requires to move the deal forward. So let's start with the 5 most common objections. And the first one is the classic one. It's too expensive. So what too expensive usually means is that the prospect doesn't see the full value of your solution yet. So here is how you can apply the framework. Hey Matteo, look, your solution is too expensive for us. I totally get that, John. Pricing always needs to make sense. But John, just for me to understand better, what would need to be true for this to be a no-brainer investment for you? If I can show you that with our solution, your team would save 30% of time that they spend on manual reconciliation tasks, and you could save up to $14,000 per month, would that make the investment easier to justify? So for this example, we have considered John as the head of finance, and you might be selling a B2B SaaS solution for John's finance department, and you are in the conversation with John, who is the decision maker. So follow this step, acknowledge, clarify, and respond. Let's move on to the second objection. Matteo, I need to think about it. This is one of the most generic objections out there. And this is exactly the problem. So it rarely means that the prospect actually needs more time to take the decision. They're probably hiding to you at this stage what their real concern is. So your job is to make sure what the real concern is. So let's make an example with Mike as the head of operations at a medium-sized business. Hey Matteo, look, appreciate your demo, but I actually need to think it over a bit. I'll reach out to you when it's a good time. Of course, Mike, I totally understand. Most people do. Just to help me understand for you, what is the part that you'll be thinking about? Well, Matteo, I'm honestly not sure if we can justify the price right now. And boom, guys, here you just got the real objection, which is the price. Thank you for sharing that, Mike. That's totally fair. I was wondering if we were able to show you that our solution actually make you save $15,000 per quarter in operational inefficiencies, would the price feel more aligned? Third objection, we are already working with someone. If you're working in B2B sales, it's very common, depending on your target market and niche, that your prospect and ICP already has a solution for what you're trying to solve. But you know that your product is better, and you want to make sure that your prospect understands that things can always go better and that your product is the solution to the gaps that their current provider actually has. So here's the real world example. Hey Matteo, thanks for reaching out, but currently we are already working with someone else. Great, John, and thank you for sharing this. It's always good to hear that businesses are already tackling this. If you don't mind, I have a last question for you. Is there anything you feel could be done better with your current provider? And typically, guys, there's always something better that can be done. Nothing is perfect. And then after you hear what your prospect says, you could follow up with something like this. And would you be open, John, to explore how we could solve that part that isn't working with your current different provider and show you the exact ROI that your company would be getting if that gap was fixed. Objection number 4, we don't have the budget. So what it usually means when the prospect in B2B sales says we don't have the budget, it can be, of course, a timing. Like there are companies that have budgets in specific quarters of the year for software and for vendors, but that's, up to your research and to your market knowledge. But let's assume that you're reaching out in a good quarter in your industry, that it's the right quarter for businesses to acquire new software solutions or any B2B service. So we don't have budget. What usually means is that the prospect still doesn't see the value yet, and so doesn't prioritize your solution among the others that he has the budget to buy. And here's a real world example. Hey Matteo, thanks for the reach out, but actually we don't have any budget at this stage. I totally understand that my budget is always a constraint for businesses. Just for me to understand better how we could support your company in the future, is this more about timing, or is this something that is not currently on your priority list? Got it, Mike. So as budget is really the blocker at this stage, what we could do is run a no strings attached easy pilot to show you the quantifiable ROI that you would be getting with our solution. And then we can decide just later if scaling makes sense. So you can see the results first and then see if you want to scale this up to the entire solution. Would that feel like a low risk way to move forward? Objection number 5. I need to talk with my business partner. So what it usually means, these objections, there are two meanings typically. So first of all, it can be probably true, and that means that they're not the ultimate decision maker to purchase your B2B solution. And so it's important that you gather information and you bring into the next conversation the real decision maker, the business partner. So your job is to make sure you bring the decision maker to the next call and you just don't let the customer talk with the business partner on its own. And meaning number 2, it could be that they are just faking it again and they're not giving you the real objection. So let's make a real life example. Hey Matteo, you know what? I actually need to discuss this with my business partner. Makes total sense, John. I'd want to align with my business partner as well. Just for me to understand better, is it typically your business partner that takes decisions when it comes to purchasing solutions for your finance department? So if the prospect says yes, it's typically my business partner that decides, you know that he or she is the ultimate decision maker, and you want to make sure you bring that person to the next conversation with you. And so you could respond this way. Would it be helpful to schedule a quick call all together so I can give your business partner the key points about our solution and address any questions that might come up directly from he or she? And if the prospect says no, it's actually me that takes the decision, well, you know that they were faking the objections and you want to understand now what the real concern is. No, Matteo, it's actually me that takes decisions when it comes to purchasing software for our finance department. I just wanted to align with him if the pricing makes sense. And so you know that the price is the real objection and you can tackle it as we have discussed before. So to conclude this video, guys, you can see objections not as walls, but really as doors that with the right keys you can open and move your deal forward to the close. So the key is always to listen more than you talk, and when you talk, ask those important questions, and when you respond to those objections, make sure that you respond with just the relevant information and value proposition that addresses the concern that the prospect has. So guys, I invite you to use this framework, acknowledge, clarify, and respond in your B2B sales conversations. Please let me know in the comments down below how you're finding this working in real life. And also I'm curious to hear what are the most common objections that you are facing in your B2B sales conversation. Drop them in the comment below. So I hope you guys, this video was really valuable for you. If so, please leave a like and subscribe, and make sure you share this video with someone that could benefit from turning objections into actual closures and deals. And see you into the next video.